One injection could have changed my whole life. I could not be here. I would just be a blip. I mean, no one would know me. My name is Pedro Rodriguez. I was born and raised in Park Slope. My father came to New York about 1957, 1958, around that time. And I had a pretty good upbringing. My father pretty much provided. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister. So I grew up in Brooklyn, and around the age of 10 or 11, I started deviating a little bit and started getting into drinking and smoking marijuana. And I started delving into a little bit heavier drugs. Maybe at 13 or 14, I started doing cocaine and still smoking marijuana, but really focused more on the cocaine. And then about 16, 17 years old, I started getting into heroin. So I wasn't focused on anything, just a self-destructive lifestyle. Initially, it was euphoria, and then that thing subsided, and obviously I had to go steal and do whatever thing, sell my body. I did anything to use. When I would get high, I had all the answers on what I wanted to do, or to get off drugs. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I didn't know how to stop. And that was the first thing. My life was a total woulda, coulda, shoulda every time I woke up. I would say about 1998 was when I hit rock bottom. I'm talking about homelessness, living in the street, don't know where I'm gonna get the next meal, let alone the next drug. So that's when I really okay, now it's physically getting bad. I remember I was sitting in the apartment that I'm in now, in fact, and I was just speaking to my higher power. I was like, I need you to intervene in my life. There was nothing. I was so depressed. The spiritual bankruptcy was so great, and I spoke about depression. I don't want to self-diagnose myself, but if there's an indicator on what that is, I think I felt that a little bit, because I felt so like, if it's not wanting to get up, if it's wanting to stay in a dark room, if it's wanting to someone just put a bullet in my head, well, if that's a diagnosis, that's what I had. That's how I felt, in that room, yeah. In 2004, on August 24th, I felt that God had spoken to me and said, I need you to get up and move. And getting clean, I know for many other addicts or people in recovery, when they hit rock bottom and they get clean, and now what am I going to do? How am I going to support myself? And I said, I always loved cooking, so I went into culinary school. I felt like my whole life I've raped and pillaged society. And this is sort of every day I go to work, it's almost like I'm giving back. I wanted to do something along those lines, helping the kingdom of heaven. And I said, hey, how can I do that? And I said, hey, well, you cook. Maybe you could work in a soup kitchen, and do that sort of stuff. So I went to culinary school with the purpose of working for an organization that gave back.
The New York City Rescue Mission has actually existed for 142 years, and we've been doing the same thing all those years, which is caring for the poor of New York City, primarily providing a shelter and food for the hungry and recovery for those that are trying to get out of homelessness. Pedro's a great example. He works vocationally at the mission, then gives his spare time to out in Brooklyn. He has a church that has a food pantry, and it's not just a job, it's a calling for him.
It's about 8:45. My name is Pastor Pedro Rodriguez. What we want to do here, we want to bless you. Every Saturday we're here.
I think he brings hope to people when he's around them. He's just a positive person. He knows if I can do it, you can do it, and that's what he communicates to the men.
When I began at the New York City Rescue Mission, they wanted me to not counsel the guys, but interact, identify. And I know some of them can tell you wow, if he was in this position and he's able to do this, that gives me almost a hope and sort of like a goal, hey, he could do it. I'm no different than them. I remember my beginning of my recovery, my sponsor just put his hand on my shoulder and he just relax, man. Matter of fact, what he told me, take a deep breath, strap in, you're in for the ride of your life. And that's what he told me, and I'll say that to everyone. Take a deep breath, buckle up, you're in for the ride of your life.